Now to developing news out of Afghanistan. The death toll of U.S. service members killed in today's explosions in Kabul has risen to 13.
Latest reports say about 80 Afghans were also killed. Horrific images of bodies and wounded survivors have been coming out of Afghanistan all day long. We are opting not to show that graphic footage. 12 News reporter Sheena Lasciuto is joining us live in studio with the latest on who is behind the attacks and how the president is responding tonight.
And Sheena, the president acknowledges that the longer the troops are there, the longer they're at risk. Has he said anything more about that August 31st timeline?
Well, he wants to stick to that date, and he was asked directly today, why stay in Afghanistan another day knowing more attacks like this one could come? But he told reporters that he wants to keep the promise. Although U.S. officials say it's likely more attacks are actually coming, the U.S. is committed to keeping their word to help Americans and allies evacuate. New images from Kabul showing the aftermath of Thursday's explosion when an already desperate situation turned deadly. At least 90 people, including 13 U.S. service members, were killed. U.S. officials say 2 suicide bombers and gunmen attacked crowds outside of the airport. General Frank McKenzie says it's likely the people responsible plan to strike again.
We believe it is their desire to continue those attacks, and we expect those attacks to continue.
President Biden says the U.S. will not forgive this. White House officials say terrorist group ISIS-K is to blame, marking the deadliest day for American troops in a decade. A Pentagon spokesperson says there were 2 blast sites, one at a security gate and another outside of a hotel near the airport.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
During his address, the president told reporters troops on the ground will continue evacuating people.
I've repeatedly said this mission was extraordinarily dangerous, and why I've been so determined to limit the duration of this mission.
We're still committed to flowing people out up until we terminate operations at some point, towards the end of the month. But I think we have the ability actually to do all of those things as we go forward.
And earlier this week, the president said the U.S. is on track to finish the mission by the 31st. At last check, there were an estimated 1,500 Americans still in Afghanistan and thousands of more Afghans hoping to leave. I'm Sheena Lasciuto, 12 News.
Veterans in southern New England are paying attention to the unrest in Afghanistan. From a Massachusetts congressman to the commander of the Rhode Island chapter of Veterans of Foreign Wars. 12 News reporter Rob Nesbitt has reaction from those who have served their country. He joins us now with how they're responding tonight to the deadly explosions. Rob?
Mike, 2 differing views, one supporting President Biden's decision to withdraw troops, while the other feels frustrated with the politics that led up to today's bombings.
While watching the images come out of Kabul Thursday, commander of the Rhode Island chapter of Veterans of Foreign Wars, Dora Vasquez-Hellner, spent much of the afternoon talking with other veterans.
Primarily at this point, it's a roller coaster of emotions that have been waken up at this point.
Commander Vasquez-Hellner served in the Army for 23 years as a Spanish interrogator and paratrooper. She believes in leaving politics to politicians, but agrees with the words sent out in a letter Thursday by the National Commander for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Fritz Mihalcik.
How is it that we placed our trust, the security of our operations, and the lives of our nation's sons and daughters in the hands of the violent extremists we have been fighting against for the past 20 years.
Representative Jake Auchincloss served in Afghanistan in 2012 with the U.S. Marines. He says the original mission of the war on terror was successful, but that over time it mutated into a counterinsurgency. It's why he agrees with a troop withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Is that in situation room after situation room, people were saying, just more time, more troops, more treasure, we can fix this. President Biden finally said, no, we can't, we're leaving.
During the congressman's interview with newsmakers Thursday, images of the suicide bombing were flooding social media feeds. He believes terrorists are looking to use the pictures and videos as a tool for a bigger strike on U.S. soil.
They are looking for a propaganda coup with images like this to recruit new terrorists and to build momentum for strikes even closer to home. We need to strike and strike hard against threats like this.
Commander Vasquez-Hellner says that the National Veterans of Foreign Wars organization is calling on Representative Auchincloss and other members of Congress to investigate today's deadly suicide bombings and deliver swift answers to the public. Reporting live in Providence, I'm Rob Nesbitt, 12 News.